Welcome to Travel Weekly TV, where we go behind the scenes speaking to the industry's heavyweights. Today I have Alice from Uniworld. Welcome.
Thanks, Hoda. Thanks for having me.
And we didn't match today on purpose, by the way. It's not a green day.
You know that I always wear green.
I just channeled my inner Alice today. Alice, tell me something about Uniworld that most people might not know about.
Well, Uniworld is a boutique river cruise line, wholly owned by the Tolman family and part of the TTC. We're a small cruise line. We only have 17 ships in our fleet. But what we do differently is that when a guest embarks on a Uniworld cruise, we immerse them in the destination. So regardless of whether you're on the Nile in Egypt or on the Rhone in France, as soon as you step on board, we want you to go slap bang into that French culture.
Fantastic. And is there a particular reason that you've picked Uniworld? I mean, how did you start in this journey?
So I started in travel probably about 12 years ago, and actually my background was in professional services, which at the time I thought was the most exciting and interesting job in the world. I worked for Ernst & Young in London, but then I met this really cool guy who ended up being my husband, and he worked in airlines and worked in aviation for British Airways at the time. And he told me that he was hosting a famille in Africa, and I was like, what is a famille and how do I get my hands on one of those?
How do I get into that industry?
I was like, that sounds so fun, and really made it my objective to get into travel, and through networking, and found myself in hotels to start. And then a very good friend of mine, Lisa Pyle, was opening an office with a cruise line in Australia, and so she called me and said, I'm looking for a sales team. And actually, I'd never worked in sales before. I had worked in luxury hotels, and so had Lisa. That was both of our backgrounds. So coming into cruise, I was pretty discerning about what kind of product I was interested in, and obviously it needed to feel like a beautiful hotel. So I started at Regent Seven Seas and loved ocean cruising, absolutely fell in love with the ship, the concept of unpacking once. And then an opportunity came up at TTC with Uniworld, and one of my mentors was recruiting into her team, and I was a good fit at the time, and the rest is history, and I haven't looked back.
And how long have you been at Uniworld now?
Nearly 6 years.
That's
so
fantastic.
It's gone like that. It really has.
What sets Uniworld apart? I know there's obviously a lot of product out there, and a lot of agents might think, okay, what is it that I need to know about Uniworld? Maybe 3 things that I can particularly say this sets Uniworld apart.
I love that question, because actually when we talk to travel agents, that's our whole steer around the conversation is, what tips do we want them to remember that is going to help them put the right river cruise product to the right guest? Because actually there's a lot of beautiful cruise product, whether it's ocean or river, and they're all so different. And I go to events like through schools or through outside of work events where people don't know what I do in travel, and they'll say, oh, you know, you're always traveling, what do you do? And I say, I work in cruise. And people's face, you either know that the magic has happened for them where they've gone on an amazing experience, but the majority of the times people look at me like I'm absolutely insane, and they're like, cruise? And I'm like, well, what cruise? What is your experience in cruise? And they'll say, oh, well, we did a little short cruise out of Sydney Harbour, but you know, and I'll go, who put you on that one? That is not for you. You're a celebrity customer, or you're a Regent customer, or you're a Seabourn customer. Like, you are on the wrong product, and actually that has destroyed their whole perception of cruise. And I hate that. So for me, I am all about helping travel agents match the right person to the right product the first time, because when we get it right, we have a customer for life, and they will have a client that trusts them and believes in them and will follow their guidance for the rest of time. So my tips are, when it comes to river cruising, look at your client. What hotels do they book? So do they book the Four Seasons? Do they book the JW Marriott? Do they book the W Hotel? What kind of hotels interest them and do they like? And once you know that, then you can look at what experiences and what will... So if you're sending customers to London and you're putting them in the Goring Hotel, which is destinationally inspired, you're going to walk in and feel like you're in London. Put them on a Uniworld, because that's exactly what we do. Not just through the decor, but through the food and the wine. And in France, you're going to eat the local cheese from the village that is only around the corner on the riverbanks. So that's my first tip, is get it right. Ask the right questions.
Qualify
Qualify that customer.
And a
Yes.
really good side note to that is that just because they've come in with something, that doesn't mean that's what they want.
I
It might
agree.
be what they've seen, and probably their friends have done this, so they come and say, I want this.
Or they've
But really-
seen something in the newspaper, or they've seen a deal flash up on a Facebook post. I think be brave. So actually, once you know what they've come in asking about, just be brave enough to say, oh, I hear what you're saying. And it might also even be around the time of year. They might walk in saying, I absolutely want to go to Greece in the July school holidays. Well, we know it's only, the clock's ticking. Greece is probably, it's very hard to get a great hotel in Greece now for July this year. Suggest something else. Suggest a Mediterranean cruise. Suggest another destination, whether it's Croatia or somewhere else. So that's our job, because if we get them to Greece and we've chucked them in the last hotel that's available and they don't like it, you've lost your credibility.
Yes.
So be brave, speak up, make alternative suggestions. And also I think when it comes to customers walking in just saying, this is what I want and it's got to be FIT, you know what? Throw in a tour, throw in a cruise, just put the brochure in front of them and show them the amazing itineraries that are there and the value that comes with that.
There's so many beautiful itineraries that Uniworld offers. Is there one that really stands out to you and you think, this is my favourite?
Well, we sell a lot of France. So France actually is probably our specialty. We've got 3 ships there. And we've got one itinerary where we can combine 3 different itineraries into one. It's called Ultimate France. It's over 3 weeks, which is good for our market because Aussies and Kiwis actually love going for longer periods. Right. But what we love about river cruising in France is that you don't have to drive. So you can visit all the wineries, taste all the wines, and not think about getting on those fast highways.
Big sell.
It's a big sell.
Most people, yes.
Yep. And just that we take care of everything. So we're going to take guests to all of the best places, all the best wineries, but also you're going to eat local food, and also it's great value for money.
So tell me, you always look fantastic. Is there something that you always pack on board a Uniworld cruise?
Comfy shoes. Actually, river cruising is pretty active, and I will say the perception of leaving river cruising till retirement is so out of date because it's a much more active form of holiday than you would imagine. So comfortable shoes are a must. I love having just my we're all Australians, you can always pick them on the cruise because they always love a bit of colour. They're not scared of a pattern.
And they're comfy.
So comfy dresses that you can roll up and put in your luggage. I always like to dress for dinner. It's not a requirement on Uniworld. It is relatively casual, but you know, I like a nice dinner outfit and my nice sparkly runners.
If they've got sparkles, it's definitely a bit more formal, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Yeah.
Is there a memorable travel experience whether it's with Uniworld or whether it's somewhere else that really makes you feel special about working in this industry?
Ooh, that's such a good question. So many thoughts come into my mind.
It's difficult, isn't it, with travel?
It is.
You're constantly traveling and you constantly collect memories, but is there one that really sticks out for you?
We have 2 boys, and I just love traveling with our kids. Like it actually I just feel everywhere feels so much more alive, and we see so much more in a different way when we travel with our boys.
Who are teenagers,
They're
by the way.
teenagers.
That's a very special note
I
because
know.
they see the world differently from when they're really young toddlers to when they're actually a little bit older. Yeah,
and they love history. Both of them are actually really passionate about history, which is great. So we went to, must have been in 2022, we went to Venice and did a Generations Uniworld cruise. And it was our first one, it was our second one that we'd done on Uniworld, which was a multi-generational family holiday. So there were other families on board. But we went to Venice and, you know, we'd been to Venice before, but more as just for a couple of days in and out. This was an in-depth, real deep dive into all of the islands around the Veneto region. And I think what I loved was just watching my kids try everything, like eat every weird and wonderful piece of seafood that comes out of that Venetian lagoon. They would try it, and making friends from all around the world, from different parts of, you know, from Asia, from the USA, and just the memories that we created on that holiday were just so special. And I can't even define it to one little moment. It was Italy, which we love. It was the food, it was the culture and the history.
Is there a particular place that the travel agents can go to learn more about Uniworld, or is there a person that they can contact?
Yeah, we are a small team, so I apologise to all of our travel agents. We've got 3 in sales, and they look after all of Australia. And you know, they're pretty stretched. They do the best they can. They work really, really hard. So I would say if you've got any specific questions, your BDM is your go-to. We also do have some online training modules, which is called Uniworld University. I would suggest that all travel agents sign up to our monthly trade EDM. So we send 1 email a month to trade, and that's about all of we really try and focus on hints, tips, and insights, how to help them put Uniworld in front of customers with confidence, and also updates and things that are happening with the product. But really, if they need us, we have a call centre in Sydney, and so our reservations team are an extension of our sales team. So we're small but mighty, and we're always there to support our trade partners.
Thank you so much, Alice, for joining me. I really appreciate it, and appreciate the matchingness too. That's a word. I love it. I love the green.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Travel Weekly TV.
Thank you.